Could this be Europe's next battlefield? If it is, Finland is making sure it's prepared. Ready to defend its borders from any aggression. And with Russia next door, nothing is being taken for granted.
I think it's my duty to protect the country. This is a good country to live, so it's something you have to protect. And I have my better half and 3-month-old boy back home, so I think that's something to protect.
This is Exercise Northern Axe. "3,000 personnel training in the eastern part of the country, mainly made up of reservists and conscripts, and part of a wider package happening across the country. To make sure these citizen soldiers are ready to answer the call if needed.
I think it's important that everyone who can defend our country if it's gonna happen, if war is gonna come.
Conscription is a big part of the Finnish defence strategy. There are only around 25,000 regulars in the armed forces, but this can swell to around 280,000 during wartime, thanks to the bank of reserves and trained conscripts that can be called up. And many in the country see it as their duty to do so.
I think the will to defend is something that you can compare, and that's exceptional high in Finland. But that's coming from the cultural, it's coming from the era of winter war. So there is a lot of sayings what we are still having from that era. And then you have the mindset of veterans and sayings, and that comes until these days and for this time what we are living.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine has put its neighbours on high alert. With Finland and the Baltic states making sure they're as prepared as they can be to face an attack.
Now, the border with Russia is about 50 miles in that direction. It's 830 miles stretching from the Gulf of Finland all the way to the Arctic Circle. And it's not only Finland's border, it's also NATO's border.
Soldiers from 3 Rifles have deployed here to enhance their capability to operate in this part of Europe, getting used to the challenging, heavily forested terrain of rural Finland and the cold, to make sure they're ready to help defend the country if they're called.
We've been aligned as the sort of battalion that's going to be looking over the Baltics, so this is sort of an exercise with the objective of what if Russia would invade Finland. So we're just going to be providing what help we can to the Finns and showing them what we can do, so that when the time comes they would like to work with us.
It's valuable experience working alongside their allies. And despite the Finns being a largely part-time and conscripted force, the British troops are gaining a lot working with them.
Surprising, to be fair, in the space of 6 months, how swept up they are. They seem to be all over what they're doing. They've all got knowledge. If we come to them with questions, they can answer them. And then sometimes they'll ask us a few bits, but bar that, yeah, they seem all over it.
And it's also a chance to try out some new tech in the field.
So this is the ATAC system that we're using this week, and what it allows us to do is provide information advantage to friendly forces. C Company 3 Rifles is a recce force, so I'm here to provide information advantage, in this case, to Commander Kainu Brigade. The reason that this system is so good is because it gives us really good situational awareness for where all our troops are. You might think that knowing where the enemy is the most important thing, but often, especially when you're operating with partners, the most important thing is to know where you are, so you can deconflict and make sure that you're all coordinated with where each other are. And that prevents blue on blue, and it allows more flexibility for the operational commander. And you can just see in this, what it allows me to do is I can lay down boundary lines, I can identify enemy positions, and also what we do is we put routes on it. So all of the routes that we put on this, they're named and numbered, and that makes command and control really, really easy whilst I'm conducting the operation. Because as you can imagine, once the enemy start going at you, you really need to be able to control where your people are easily and simply. And saying, are you at grid 6 numbers or 8 numbers is a lot more difficult than just saying green 18, I've just passed through it. So this provides all of that functionality, and it's part of 11 Brigade's Futures programme.
Finland joined NATO in 2023, ending a decades-long position of military non-alignment. And while the country now has that support from the alliance, the troops know they're the first line of defence if any invasion happens.
We have a little bit more than 5 million people in Finland, so it's very important that we all are in reserve, like we are doing our job. So who else is coming to defend our country if we don't? NATO is, of course, it's very important backup, but first-hand, it's our job to defend our country.
While national service has been a part of Finnish society for a long while now, the war in Ukraine has put a greater importance on the country's citizen soldiers. This is an army with one job: to defend its homeland. And with Europe's greatest security threat across the border, it's making sure it's ready. David Sivills-McCann, BFBS Forces News, Vuosanka Training Area, Finland.
Thanks for watching. For more from BFBS Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.